Damn, I might have to comment about that right off the bat. Shit. All right, I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the S&P Show. As you notice, it's a very, very unusual of me with this new laptop, so it's very fast than my last one, if you notice about that.
Somebody is digital.
Exactly.
Crisp and clear with the picture. They don't look like 1985 anymore. Granular and pixelated. Damn,
exactly.
You can actually see them. Oh my goodness. Look at that clear picture.
And the great thing is, I also partnership with a new daily fantasy company called No House Advantage. And so, like, if you live in Michigan and Wisconsin, you will be able to play that, by the way. So by the time we do the player props, I'll give you the promo code for it later on.
Oh, look at that. Even my state gets to play in it. Wow.
Exactly.
Are you still on your Facebook band, Shawn? Just for people to listen, that are you still in Facebook jail?
Yes, I'm still in Facebook jail until April the 8th. I know.
Man, those community standards, I tell you.
Right. So I don't know. Go ahead.
You go ahead. You're not granular and pixelated anymore. Go ahead.
Okay, so I remember the last time we talked about Antoine Daniels, about him.
Detroit Mercy. Yep, and him not taking the chance to go for the record. Yep.
Right, and he talked about it on Associated Press this week, by the way. And my thing is like this. You played 5 years at Detroit Mercy, and there was possibilities, like, if Detroit Mercy were to win a couple of games, they could have been in the CBI tournament. Nowhere, they were not going to go to the NIT.
Hey, a 16-16 team got into the CBI. Just an FYI.
Thank you for that information, because that's the lowest of the lows.
Yeah, that was like the low of the low. Was a 16-16 team got in. I actually think it might have been Stetson. I can't quite remember, but anyways, a 16-16 team got in. I know where you're going with this, Shawn. Detroit Mercy was what, 14-19?
Yeah, they were under 500. So I'm like, they didn't rob you. You had 5 years to even do that. Plus, because of that COVID year. You know what I mean? The other
thing is because I'm a Horizon League alumni, okay? So I went to UW Milwaukee, which is in the same conference as Detroit. So I do follow the Horizon League a little bit, right? Yeah. Dude, they finished 7th in the conference, bro. 7th. Not like 2nd, not 3rd. Like, Youngstown State actually won the conference. Right. But they were in the CBI, right?
Correct.
And Milwaukee was 2nd. Northern Kentucky finished 3rd, but they won the conference tournament, so they got the auto bid. Yeah, right. That Northern Kentucky team wasn't a bad team either. Now, very athletic, just kind of underachieved during the season, but then stepped up in tourney time. Anyways, right? I think even Cleveland State got a bid somewhere in there. Anyways.
Yeah.
Dude, you finished 14-19. You can't cry about not getting in the postseason play and feeling cheated when you finished 14-19 in the Horizon League. I'm sorry. And your dad's the head coach, just letting you jack up shots left and right. Okay? You knew what you needed to do going into the final game of you were going to play in at the other team's court, okay? And you guys were in it for the first 30 minutes and then let down. Once you kind of knew that the game was going to be over, man, and you knew that your team wasn't going to win, they should have just gave you the ball every damn time to shoot, is what they should have done. But they didn't, okay? They should have. I mean, dude, if I got a player that needs 4 points to break the all-time scoring record and I'm down, and I know our season's pretty much toast. Yeah, I'm just gonna if I got timeouts left or whatever, I'm just gonna make a quick substitution and tell the crew, like, yo, let Antoine just get all the shots going forward. We're gonna be unselfish so he can get his chance.
Exactly.
And you know what? He missed a 3-pointer right at the end. He didn't exactly have a banner day. I mean, yeah, he put up 22 points, but his shooting wasn't like spectacular in the game. I mean, if he would have hit 2 more buckets, he would have got 4 points. But that didn't happen. Dude, you had 61 more games to get it done, and you still couldn't get it done. 61 games. You came up 4 short. Hey, applaud the effort. Don't get me wrong. Okay? But, dude, you didn't get it handled
You can't be crying
in 61 games, much less going to a third-rate tournament with a 14-19 team. No, I'm sorry, but, yeah, I'm not feeling it for you, bro. Hey, applaud the effort. You're going to probably – I don't know if he's going to get drafted or not. I don't know what his NBA draft stock is, to be honest with you. I think he's probably going to get drafted. I would think. But I couldn't tell you for sure if he's going to get first NBA can't play with
I think we kind of lost
player for the NBA draft about an hour ago. But that wasn't unexpected for an underachieving, horribly coached Michigan team this year. But I mean horrible. I'm sorry. 2 first-round picks on your team, an all-conference center. I know Diabate and Houston left, but that's no excuse. 8 games where you had an 80% chance to win, and you lost. The metrics showed. Culminated by the NIT loss at Vanderbilt, up 9 in the last minute, and you upchucked it. So at this point, I have no sympathy for Juwan Howard right now. Like, next season, they don't make the dance. I don't.
And it looks like we're about to lose him. Oh, actually, we lost him for that connection. So I'm still here, by the way. So at least I'm still here. So what he was saying was, like, if Juwan Howard doesn't get it done by next year, this is not going to be too good, because you remember last season they were in the Sweet 16, and then the year before that it was in the Elite 8. So also the team was a young roster, of course, by the way, and we don't know what's going to happen with Hunter Dickinson. All right. And I also want to say that my bracket is sucking right now, because I had Kansas and Marquette. And Kansas, let me see. Okay, I thought that was a message. So Kansas lost to Arkansas because Bill Self wasn't coaching, and then Marquette lost to Michigan State. So we do have a couple of great games for you tonight. As of right now, there is one game that is playing as we are doing this show. Let me pull it up, by the way. It is Michigan State and, oh my goodness, because there's like 4 games. So right now it is Michigan State and Kansas State. So as of right now, as we're doing this show, they're tied at 17 apiece, as Michigan State is 7th, while Kansas State is 3rd. And then at 7:15, it will be 8th ranked Arkansas against 4th ranked UConn. Then at 9 o'clock, you have 9th-ranked Florida Atlantic against 4th-ranked Tennessee. And then, of course, the biggest of the big game I'm looking to see is 3rd-ranked Gonzaga and 2nd-ranked UCLA. So people do want to see that as well, including me, because that is a very thrilling game to watch. All right. And by the way, I'm going to play the sponsor, and that is Nerd Focus. Wow, that was a great one. All right, so that was a sponsor, Nerd Focus. So if you're listening to this audio version, that was Nerd Focus. There's a nerd in everyone. So we don't know where Anthony is at right now. Let me send him a message. Because right now, like I said, I'm in Facebook jail until April the 8th. So for those of you who want to know what no house advantage is, I will gladly tell you what no house advantage is, as we're waiting for Anthony, by the way. So with the no house advantage, so what you do is there's 2 ways. So you can play the pick'em or you can play the house, okay? So in the pick'em, you play in a public guaranteed cash prize pool or create your own private contest with friends. That's the good thing. And then also you can earn points for correct picks. So select your player props and you can win cash prizes. That is the pick'em. And then on the house, there we go. So on the house, you can bet on player props over under, bet on player matchups, win up to 21 times your entry, and then cash out instantly. And it also has peer-to-peer bet on spreads, high value proposition, mass entry capability. There's no salary cap and no predetermined point system. So that's great about that. All right. So as you see, there's a phone number as listed. Oh, here is Anthony. All right.
All right, we're back.
Yes, we are back.
So what was I at before we cut off?
We were talking about college basketball.
So
I think we have some issues.
The things that for games tonight.
Oh, so the game right now is Michigan State and Kansas State. So right now, Kansas State scored 18-17 with 9:29 left.
Okay. So, it's basically State's defense.
Oh, I think we lost him again.
Kansas State's guards, because you got to remember they've got like a team full of transfer portal guys. Okay.
All right.
And let me say this about the NCAA tournament. The best guards usually end up winning this thing. If your team has the best guard play, you're going to win. That's the new thing with college basketball. Guard play dominates all. Now, I think Kansas State has the better guard play. So I think Kansas State should win. Now, if they brick shots, Marquette State will. If Kansas State does what they did against Kentucky, so I'll take Kansas State, but we'll see what happens.
And then
what's the other games tonight, Shawn?
8th ranked Arkansas and 4th ranked UConn.
Man, well, Arkansas made the Sweet 16 last season and are the Kansas Killers. And you got UConn, who's talented teams in the country.
Oh my goodness, I've lost them again. So if you are watching, whether you're watching on YouTube or on Twitch, feel free to answer questions, and I can answer that question as much as you can as we're talking about college basketball right now. Oh, he's back.
Oh,
All
okay.
right, here we go.
So let me get back to UConn here.
Yeah,
Very talented, got a big man. You know, they got a lot of talent. But the question is, did they underachieve during the regular season? Because, man, I
nobody has to
feel
talk
like with
about
that
them.
team, they should have done a lot more than what they did during the regular season.
They were kind of quiet in the regular season.
I mean, they did their thing, but man, they got the big man, they got height, they got length, they got athletic guards. It just feels like they
It's their year.
coasted. It feels like they coasted. And now they're going to turn it on. I mean, Arkansas is no slouch, okay? They got good coaching, okay? They're a very well-coached team. I mean, I think this game will be tight. I think it'll be tight. But, man, that West region is no joke. It's crazy. I mean, I can see Arkansas winning this game. I can see UConn winning this game. Like I said, it's going to come down to whoever the better guard play is. So I think that's where we're going to roll with this, Sean. Is whoever has.
I think we lost them again. Huh. I think it's kind of frozen right now. I think he's trying to say. A second. Let me put that right there. Okay. Ask. There we go. So if you have any questions that you want to ask, feel free. No matter if it's the NCAA, NFL, college basketballs we're talking about. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
In and out, and I have no idea why.
Okay.
Anyways, I think Kansas State has a better chance of winning tonight than UConn does.
Gotcha.
So I think that's where we are with that game.
And then also you got 9th-ranked Florida Atlantic against 4th-ranked Tennessee. And you know how Tennessee is, especially with their head coach, will lose the games that you shouldn't have.
Man, Rick Barnes, man, gets his team there every year. I think he's been to one Final Four with Texas, if I remember, a long time ago. But man, dude always seems to fold in these moments here. And you got Florida Atlantic, a very athletic team, very athletic, very lanky. I mean, on paper, Tennessee should win this game, right?
Correct.
They should. I mean, and they handled Duke.
Oh yeah, they
I
did.
think the key for Tennessee is the guard play of Vescovi. When he goes, Tennessee goes. So if I'm Florida Atlantic, I'm probably thinking, how am I going to shut down this Italian? Okay? How am I going to shut down the Italian guard and handle business so we can pull the upset and move on? If Vescovi does his thing, then Tennessee will win. If Florida Atlantic figures out the way to negate him and slow him down and can control the tempo, then Florida Atlantic should win this game.
And
now,
you're right. He only made the Final Four once. You're right.
So, Tennessee should win this game, but Florida Atlantic can win this game, but they're going to have to stop, or I want to say stop Vescovi because I think he'll get his, but you got to limit him. You got to limit his effect because when he's flowing, as you saw against Duke, when he's flowing, man, the rest of that team flows. When he goes, they go. So it's the Vescovi show. He's very talented. He is very talented. Don't let him, being Italian or white or looking like a shrimp on the court, fool you. He dictates the pace of the game and the flow for Tennessee, and he's a true court leader. He's a very good player, very, very underrated. Not the normal guy you would think of at Tennessee. You know that would be running the show there, right? But man, he gets things handled. He's a very good player. He'll probably have an excellent career when he's in Europe.
And then, of course, the game of the night: third-ranked Gonzaga and UCLA. Oh, that is so great.
Man, West Coast in the house.
I want to see Jamie Jackson do if he can score more than 19 points, which is one of our player props.
And this game is in Las Vegas, right? This Gonzaga UCLA game, West Coast. I mean, how often do these two teams play?
Yep.
I mean, right. I don't even think these teams do play each other. When's the last time they've actually faced each other?
That's a very great question. I looked it up. You're right. It's in Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena.
So, have Gonzaga and UCLA ever played in let's say the last 15 years since Gonzaga's been relevant? How often have they played?
That's what I'm
probably just at the NCAA tournament, I'm going to assume. Maybe they had a 1-1. Maybe they had a series at UCLA, because I sure as heck know they weren't playing games at Gonzaga, even in a 8,000 seat gym.
Gonzaga did beat UCLA in 2021.
Was that in the NCAA tournament?
It was a buzzer beater.
Or is it a Maui Invitational or something like that?
That was a buzzer beater 3 from half court for the national championship. That sent Gonzaga to the national championship.
Okay, so it was in the NCAA. Yeah, they don't play each other in the regular season, do they?
That much, right.
Have they ever? If you Googled it, have they ever played each other in the regular season? While Gonzaga has been relevant in the last 15 years, the Mark Few era, let's say.
I should actually look it up.
Have they played each other outside of a Maui Invitational? Because if that game's getting made, it's either going to be a neutral court or it's going to be at Pauley Pavilion on a Saturday on CBS.
Played each other in the regular season. Let me see.
I mean, I just don't see the incentive for UCLA to schedule Gonzaga. I just don't.
And I think the game is on CBS, which is a great idea.
Well, I'll tell you this. It's definitely the game of the night. You're going to truly get to see what UCLA is. Because you know what? Being in the Pac-12, they don't get a lot of media coverage. And
exactly.
And now we got the tournament. And now we get to finally see what UCLA is all about against a team, like Gonzaga. It's time to impress UCLA and show me what you got. It's not like they don't have talent.
They do.
I mean, they got some heavy hitters over there. And Ben Cronin can coach, okay? I seen it firsthand when they had no business beating Michigan a couple years ago, but he outcoached Juwan Howard, who can't, right? Sorry, but I'm on that kick, right?
Right.
And He outcoached Michigan. They had no business winning that game, and they made it an ugly, physical, defensive battle. And they made Franz Wagner look like a chump. Like the worst game of his career. Now, they did what they needed to do, and I don't think that this Gonzaga team is as athletic as past Gonzaga teams. And I think that's going to finally be a sticking point tonight. I like UCLA in this game, but, I mean, it's Mark Few. The man can coach. But,
okay.
And you've got a lot, let me say this about this game.
Okay.
I think the Gonzaga players have better IQ on the court than the UCLA guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the UCLA guys are better individual basketball players. I mean, is that kind of a hard way to kind of say that? But it is, but it isn't. You know what I mean? Like,
and I actually got it. So they have been playing 7 times since Mark Few became head coach. So between Gonzaga, 7 times.
Anytime outside of March.
Yes. So the first game they played was on December 11th, 1999.
Okay, that doesn't really count. Keep going.
Okay. Second one was March 23rd, 2006.
That doesn't count. That's a tournament.
Okay. December 13th, 2014.
Okay, that was December 13th. Okay, so that's a regular season matchup, or where was it at? Neutral court or at UCLA?
That was at UCLA.
Wow.
UCLA.
Okay, keep going.
December 12th, 2015. That was
UCLA.
That was in Spokane.
Okay, so they actually played okay, so that was like 15. What about after that?
And then after that, of course, we said about the April, and also the last time they played was on November 23rd, 2021. That was at Las Vegas. So that was like
so that was an individual tournament. So basically, they haven't scheduled each other than a tournament, like a neutral court game.
Yes.
Basically, they haven't played each other on one another's floor in 18 years.
God, yeah.
They've played on neutral court sites or in the tournament. They need to do that game every year during the regular season.
Right. That'd be great for college basketball.
It needs to be done.
Especially in the West Coast.
Yep, it needs to be done. Same with Arizona and Gonzaga, especially with the Gonzaga connection that Arizona has. Those two should be playing each other. But it is what it is.
That's right.
Okay, so what do we got for the other matchups this week while my son is sitting next to me here as a special guest tonight?
All right. So those are the 4 games on Thursday. My tablet is loading up.
Man, the man is not pixelated anymore, folks.
Okay. So tomorrow we have 5th ranked San Diego State.
San Diego State? So we got San Diego State and who?
Top ranked Alabama. That's a 6:30 game.
I think San Diego State's played well, but the guard play and the defense of Alabama, I think, will be too much for San Diego State.
Give credit to Brian.
You got probably the best player in college basketball this year on Alabama, guns and all.
And then you also got 5th ranked Miami will face against top ranked Houston.
Okay. This is where I'm going to take Miami in this game. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay. Houston is kind of, you know what? They beat the snot out of Auburn. Good. Auburn wasn't that great of a team this year. Okay,
Yeah.
they lost a lot of talent, and no offense to Bruce Pearl, great rah-rah coach, but Bruce Pearl just doesn't get you there. He's got one Final Four, but Bruce is Bruce. Okay,
Okay.
so that Auburn team probably overachieved this year. So at this point, okay,
Okay.
Miami has been battle tested. Okay, they made the Elite Eight last year. Jim Larinaga always gets things handled with Miami. That dude always gets them through in the tournament. Okay, that dude can coach. Miami's battle tested. Okay, Elite Eight last year, ACC tested. They're probably not getting the props that they deserve. Houston hosted in the AAC all year. And when they've actually had to play somebody, they really haven't fared all that well. And they know how to trick games. They played Alabama and blew that big lead.
And they almost lost to Memphis.
I mean, well, they did lose to Memphis in the AAC tournament. But dude, dude, I saw them play against Temple. Okay, that's all I needed to see about Houston this year. Okay, dude, they lost at Temple. Okay, John Chaney wasn't anywhere in the building. Okay, except in memory. Now, Calvin Sampson's a good coach, but
yeah,
he's only going to take that team so far. Yeah, they went to the Final Four. I just think this Miami team is battle tested. They've been in a lot of tight games. They know how to handle this. I like Miami. I think they're more built for this situation than Houston is. So I'm going to take Miami.
Okay. Then you have 15th ranked Princeton will take on 6th ranked Creighton. Now, for those of you who don't know Creighton is in Kansas. For those of you who don't
actually,
know.
Creighton is not in Kansas. Creighton is actually in Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, it's in Nebraska? I got it mixed up.
Yeah, Omaha, Nebraska. I have a friend who graduated from Creighton. That's how I know that. It's also where Warren Buffett went with the school and supports Creighton. Okay. He's a very big booster. Anyways, Creighton's a good team in the Big East, and they have a big center, and they have a very good starting five. They're a little bit thin on the bench, okay? And I can say this about Creighton, okay? They haven't really been able to step up this year against those more elite teams. Like Marquette blew them out the door 3 times. Okay, blew them out twice, and then went to Creighton's home floor and beat them. Okay, had trouble against Xavier. They should be grateful that they're facing Princeton. Yes, Creighton played their best game of the year, I think, in beating Baylor this past weekend. Okay? Right. And that says a lot. Okay? Because I'm going to be honest, I didn't have them going past Baylor. Right. But this Princeton team is pretty good. And as I said, guard play leads the way this time of the year. You know what? I'm going to say it.
Sure.
I'm going to take the ballers. I'm going to take the scholars over the ballers. I'm going to take Princeton for the win here. Because Princeton just plays. It's going to be an ugly game, probably in the 60s. It's going to be close. But I like. I like Princeton in this game. If they can control the pace, pace will be the key. They're playing at a Princeton pace, probably going to favor Princeton. If you're going into the 70s and 80s, it's going to favor Creighton.
Okay. And then,
I like Princeton, but you know what? Most likely Creighton's going to win, but I'm going to take Princeton.
Okay. And then also you got to have third-ranked Xavier against second-ranked Texas. I'm very impressed with Xavier. That's another team that nobody don't give credit to.
Xavier's a very good team. Very good.
Every year.
Yep. They're located in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Thank you, Brad.
Now, I think they're very talented, but this Texas team, I think they're on a mission. Since Rick Barnes, since Chris Beard got fired, okay?
Okay.
They're on a mission. They're on a mission to win because the other thing is this. The guy who replaced Chris Beard, he's essentially coaching for his job. Okay?
When you said that about Arizona.
You know? So, the head coach of Texas, he's got to win because that is not his official job. He's the interim guy right now. Okay?
Okay.
I think he's got to get Texas to the Final Four to get that interim off. He gets Texas to the Final Four, he'll be the head coach. Anything less than the Final Four, especially in this region, I'm sorry, but Texas is the best team left in that region. They're better than They're better than Houston. They're better than Miami. And they're better than Xavier. And they're battle tested this year. In fact, in a way, I think they're playing better ball under this guy than they were under Chris Beard. And that says a lot, considering Chris Beard, he's a pretty damn good coach. You got to remember, he took Texas Tech to the NCAA title game. Okay?
Okay.
But I think Texas should handle Xavier. Texas should win that region. They should beat Xavier and handle the winner of Houston and Miami. I'm sorry, I don't see the hype with Houston. Maybe I'll get proven wrong. Maybe I won't. I just do not see the hype. Give me Texas to beat Xavier, and then give me Texas to beat Miami in a close game. I think Miami will give Texas a closer game than Houston will. If Houston somehow able to pull it out, I think Texas is going to run them through the gym. But we'll see.
Exactly.
We'll see.
So update right now. Kansas State 30, Michigan 26 with 3:46 left in the first half. So just an update.
Yeah, it's probably going to be close, 3 or 4 points here at the end of the first half. And then second half, that game will probably be a 6 to 8 point game in difference at the end, probably determined by free throw shooting at the end. One team will be slightly up, and then you know how that goes. Just got to convert your chances at the line and not pull a Juwan Howard at the end. Sorry for making this a Juwan Howard rip fest, but the man's on the hot seat next year. I don't care that he's a Michigan legacy. Why is it at Michigan when the football team is up, the basketball team is down, and vice versa? Somebody want to answer me that? Why can't we just have football and basketball dominate? And you always know hockey's always going to come with it. Speaking of that, the NCAA hockey tournament has started. One game's already finished. Boston University beat Western Michigan 5-1. Last I saw, Denver was losing to Cornell 2-0, and St. Cloud State was up on Minnesota State 1-0. I'm sure by now those games are over. I don't know who won them, but the NCAA hockey tournament's this weekend. Minnesota plays tonight. Then tomorrow, you got 3 Big Ten teams playing. You got Michigan against Colgate. You got Penn State and Michigan Tech. You got Ohio State playing. I love college hockey. Love it. And I'm looking forward to it. I think Michigan, let me say this.
Sure thing.
Even though Michigan's the number 1 seed in the Allentown region, I think they're at a disadvantage being in that region because Penn State's in that region. So if they win and Penn State win, you're going to have a whole bunch of Penn State fans packing that game or that hockey game.
Now, does it?
So I think they're at a little bit of a disadvantage if Penn State ends up winning tomorrow afternoon against Michigan Tech. I mean, they should. That'll be a Michigan Tech's a 3 seed. Penn State's a 2. I mean, Penn State should win that game. I mean, we had 4 teams make the hockey tournament from the Big Ten, and 2 more almost did. So, I mean, I think Michigan's at a disadvantage being in that Allentown region. I really do. But that's me. I guess we'll see. They're the highest scoring team in the tournament coming in. Could work on the defense a little bit, but they got the possible Hobie Baker Trophy winner and Adam Fantilli on that team, but we'll see.
Now, does the ESPNU show those games?
They're on ESPN2, ESPN, ESPNU. Each game is different. So,
okay.
I mean, they're on, or you can go on the ESPN Plus and watch them also.
Not about that.
So, I mean, it'll definitely be interesting. So, I mean, to see what happens with that. So, real quick here, because I know we have a little bit of time left here. I think we got about 15 minutes, right? So, I want to talk National Football League because we talk a lot of National Football League here.
That's about Lamar Jackson, if you heard about that.
About the news about only negotiating with NFLPA certified members?
Yes.
Hey, the league is right. They only should be negotiating with NFLPA certified members. Can't be negotiating with his mama and his cousin. You know, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna go back to 1996 when I'm saying this. Okay? But here we go. Here we go. Ready? Me and you, your mama and your cousin too, rolling on dubs, rolling on dos. Now, if you caught that, that's an Outkast song.
Right.
That's what this is. Lamar's got some nobody, dude. If you're not going to hire an agent, then you're basically negotiating for yourself. And you can have the NFLPA look at the contracts, but you can't have your mama and your cousin too, looking at it and having your homeboys negotiate for you.
It's not going to work like that.
That's not going to work. Okay? The other thing is, what's funny is I said this a while ago, and it was magically confirmed in the last 24 hours. Former Ravens general manager Ozzie Newsome.
Yep.
I don't know if you saw what he had to say about Lamar Jackson and Deshaun Watson and guaranteed contracts. But basically, what did I say on this show, Sean? Do you remember what I said about contracts about 3 weeks ago about this situation?
Please repeat that.
Okay, because I basically said it just like this. Literally. I said that the Ravens don't want to pay him guaranteed money and pay him $50 million a year because A, it sets a bad precedent, and B, the Browns are stupid, which they are, okay? And it was an outlier. Did I not say the word outlier when I said that?
You did say that, as you talked about it 3 weeks ago.
And Ozzie Newsome, lo and behold, said, yeah, this contract, we need to see if this is going to be the new norm or if this is an outlier. Well, let me go ahead and tell you. This is an outlier. The Deshaun Watson is an outlier. Now, if this was Patrick Mahomes, I can see that being all guaranteed because the man has 2 Super Bowls, MVPs, and it's Patrick Mahomes. I can understand it. Now, I understand Kirk Cousins got a guaranteed contract. It was fully guaranteed, right? But that was for 3 years for $28 million a year. Not 5 years for $250. Big difference between $28 million a year and $50 million a year. Massive difference. Okay? Especially for a quarterback who 1-3 in the playoffs, and if the legs go, he ain't nothing. And has missed 30% of his games the last 2 seasons. If you're not going to be around in the playoffs, as you've proven, what's the use of having you? If your body with your style breaks down when you're most needed. I'm sorry. Teams ain't going to go for that. Now, I honestly don't think the Ravens want him back. I honestly think they want to go with Huntley at a way cheaper option.
And plus that injury.
Plus, the other thing is how much of the offense do you have to change around and dictate to suit Lamar Jackson compared to a normal NFL offense? I think you have to change a lot of what you do to make it work. Like if you had a normal quarterback who understands all these progressions and everything else, which I don't know if Lamar does or doesn't. I think some of it, Lamar Jackson just goes out there and wings it like Jamie Foxx on any given Sunday. You know what I'm saying? I'm steaming, Willie beaming. I got the ladies. Well, Lamar in a way kind of reminds me of steaming Willie beaming. I don't know how much he can read defenses.
That's a red flag right there.
I mean, has he improved at all since 2019 when he won the MVP? Has he improved? No. You thought, man, this dude in 2019 won the MVP. Man, we're going to see major improvement. Has it happened? No. Have the Ravens supplied him with a Pro Bowl receiver or something? Then I'll admit, no. And to be honest with you, the player that's probably hurt most by it isn't Lamar Jackson. It's probably Mark Andrews. Because if he had anything around him to free him up from being the number one option, man, he'd probably be putting up some Kelsey-esque numbers. Maybe even more. Because if you had to worry about the other receivers, right? Like Kansas City, you had to worry about Hill. And then you had to worry about Schuster and Hardman and the wide array of things that Andy Reid does. And you got to worry about Mahomes. Man, I think Mark Andrews is on a Travis Kelce level. I honestly do.
They just need a quarterback that can throw accurately.
And here's the thing. I think with Huntley, you can develop that a little more, or at least get it at a way cheaper option. Now, what does that mean in terms of trades? Because honestly, I think Lamar could get traded by draft night. Now, will it cost the team 2 firsts to get him? No. I honestly think the Ravens are going to trade him, but it's going to be for less than 2 first-round picks. I think they're going to work out a deal with the team and get like a 1, a 3, and a player. Okay? And boom. They're going to make a deal, and they're going to take some wide receiver off of a team to help out Huntley and a first-round pick and like a 3rd or a 4th round pick, and then Lamar Jackson's going to sign with another team like the Patriots or the Colts. I honestly don't know if all these teams are sold on the quarterbacks this draft. I mean, I'll be honest with you. The quarterback with the most upside is Anthony Richardson. He's very Cam Newton-esque, very physically gifted. The question is, can you develop his mind and his reading the defenses? Because if you can, oh my God. I mean, it's like it would be like Justin Fields on steroids with running the ball. If you got his passing game down, my goodness, you put him in the right system and the right development, oh my God. Seriously. I don't know if these teams are sold on Will Levis. To be honest with you, it looks like C.J. Stroud's going to be the number 1 pick. Seems like the Panthers have fallen in love with him. Okay?
Right, since they got the number 1 pick.
So it looks like CJ's going to Ohio State. I mean, going to Carolina, which leaves the Texans at 2. I guess the question you got to ask for the Texans is, do you want Bryce Young? Or are you going to trade the pick and hope you win the Caleb Williams sweepstakes next year?
Yeah.
Because I think Caleb Williams is better than both of these guys. But that's me.
Probably tank.
You know? So, question is yeah, right now, if I was to guess, Houston would be the worst team in the league going in the next season. I mean, you traded Brandon Cooks, you signed Robert Woods, and you've signed a couple cast, but you did basically extend Laramie Tunsil 3 or 4 more years. You haven't really spent a lot of money on anything else because, you signed Devin Singletary. Boy, that's going to really, really do some work there, you know? Not really sold. I personally think the Texans are going to trade that pick. And they're not going to draft the quarterback. Okay?
Okay.
Where they're going to trade that pick to, I don't know. My guess is outside the top 6. My guess would be like the Raiders, or I'm thinking the Raiders. It seems like the Texans and the Raiders are naturally built for each other. Josh McDaniels wants a quarterback he can mold, and it'll buy him some time as a coach.
Oh, yeah. Even on
at a low contract. And I think the Raiders going from 7 to 2 will give up like 2 firsts. This year's first and another first, and boom. Okay? That solves that. So my guess is right now I'd have to say the Raiders are going from 7 to 2. Because I think the Texans are all in for tanking and for next year getting Caleb Williams.
That's what it looks like.
So that to me is what that's going to be. right? Then you got 3 Arizona. If those 2 guys are off the board, can you trade down? Is anybody going to trade up for a quarterback after that right now? I don't see it. Will they trade up for Anderson?
Ooh.
Because yes, I think I can see the Lions trading up from 6 to 3. I can see I can see a lot of things.
A whole lot of cans of worms you just opened.
I mean, what would it cost to go from 6 to 3? Probably a second round pick. If the Lions gave up a second round pick and pick 6, they could probably go from 6 to 3 and, take Anderson and Hutchinson on one side, Anderson on the other. Good Lord. Or they can wait until 6 and I guess pray that Jalen Carter is going to get his head right, and if he falls to them, I think Lamar Jackson to me at this point, why do I see him in a Colts uniform? That
look weird. Because they do need a quarterback if you think about it. They do.
They do. But I don't know if they would trade this year's first. They're not going to trade the 4th overall pick to the Ravens, okay? But they might trade next year's first to them.
But not this year. I don't see that.
Yes. Now, they do that, like next year's first, and the one thing the Colts do have is, dude, they've got a good amount of decent wide receivers that they could trade, and they've got some good defensive players.
Oh yeah, they
do. The Colts might be willing to trade one of them and shed some contract to a point and give that to the Ravens to build their defense even more. So I could see like a wide receiver, a defensive player, and like next year's first round pick going to the Ravens from the Colts. And then the Colts might give up like a 2 this year, a 1, and a defensive player and like a wide receiver. I can see that. And then the Colts would have Lamar, they'd have the quarterback, and you'd have Jonathan Taylor. The Colts obviously would have to address offensive line. I don't think an offensive lineman at 4 is going to be the pick. So you probably need to trade back from 4 to probably like 7, 8, 10. Could make a trade with Philly. Philadelphia probably needs some defensive line help at this point after all their losses. Arizona needs draft picks.
Their defense is bad.
But I mean, because I see it like after that top 6, I kind of see a drop off in this draft. Right? Like maybe even 5. You've got 3 defensive players and the top 2 quarterbacks. And then you have Anthony Richardson as the question mark. Right? Like an athletic god. Like 15 years ago when Cam Newton was drafted, like this dude would have been the pick, even over Cam. Seriously. Question is can you develop the mental aspect of his game? He can throw. We know. He can run. He's super athletic. He can jump. He can do it. He can do it all. Physically. He can do it all and then some. Can you develop him mentally to read defenses, the smart aspects of the game, the film study? the things that I'm going to say it like this, Sean.
Sure.
The things that Kyler Murray is not willing to do to become an elite quarterback. Yep, I said it. Kyler Murray will never become an elite quarterback because the money's got into his head, and he will never be that guy to study and take the game outside. Why do you think the Cardinals put that thing in his contract? And then he got everybody and their mama called them out, and then they reneged. Oh, yeah, we believe in him, even though we got this thing in the... Dude, we know. We know that dude is playing PlayStation 5 and ordering pizza and got the honeys over.
Right. Not even focused.
He ain't focused on football other than when he's at the facility. When he's out of the facility, or he ain't spending that extra time dedicated to his craft. He's just putting in his 9 to 5 and dipping.
Right.
Simple.
Like a normal job would.
Yep. Like, dude, gotta put in a little OT, buddy. Gotta put in a little OT.
All right. So
has to be done. Anyways, man, we're getting closer to the draft. We're like what? 32 days from the draft. What is it? April 25th?
Let me see. It's
April 27th. So we're 36 days. We're essentially 5 weeks. We're 5 weeks from the draft.
Right. It's getting
5 weeks from today is the draft. Let me just go ahead and say it. We will not be on the air that day during the draft. Or we're going to be doing a very early show that day. Like 6 o'clock Eastern. Because no offense, none of you listeners are going to want to pay attention to us when the draft is actually happening. And I don't blame you. So we'll probably do an early draft show that day, or we'll do a Wednesday show instead of a Thursday show that week.
Something like that. Yeah,
we'll let you know.
Okay.
All right.
So we're doing the player props, but this time it's going to be college basketball. Like I said, it's our great friends from No House Advantage. So here is the first
Bring it on. Bring it on.
All right. According to No House Advantage, they believe Florida Atlantic Elijah Martin with 4.5 rebounds.
They're playing Tennessee? Yeah. I'll take the over on that.
Okay. Now we got 2 UCLA players. The first one is Jamie Jacques with 19 points.
I'll take the under.
That's a risky one. That's really risky one, especially with Gonzaga's defense. And then Julian Stroutwater with 5.5 rebounds for UCLA.
I'll take the over on that.
All right. Oh, and also, by the way, so like I said, if you live in Michigan or Wisconsin, you'll be able to play No House Advantage. So in Michigan, the gambling hotline is 1-800-270-7117. And in Wisconsin, it is 800-426-2535. So if you know anybody, there's the hotline as well. So please make sure gamble responsibly.
Amen to that.
Exactly. So that's why I had to put that disclaimer as well. And then in the future, I'll be able to do YouTube videos on that as well. And also the hotline as well, because I do take that as very seriously, because gambling can be addiction.
It can. It can. Sean, it's good to see you in crystal color, looking pristine.
Exactly. And we'll be back here Tuesday with the same laptop with the HD, by the way, because I love it. And you'll also see more of this when I do stuff like this on No House Advantage. Now that I can do big back doing player props and start fresh. Thank God.
Yep. Exactly. Sounds good.
All right. We will see you guys Tuesday and enjoy the games as well.
Tuesday. Peace.
All right. And you have a nice and wonderful day, my friend.
Hey, Sean, real quick.